Hi ElasticSearch fans, finally we get to the end of the road. Now we are ready to investigate the search service. Let's return to our controller. Here we are having our search service, which takes query builder like an argument. So let's open our search service by itself. As you see, it is rather simple class. It only executes some query at search object that is built by our query builder. And as you already can suppose, our query builder performs most of the magic. So just to remind, we are having search service, query builder, and query builder performs different operations like filters, aggregation, sort, fields, and paging. So let's skip to our code back and let's open our query builder class and see how it is realized from the code side. So here we are having our create query method and we are having different methods inside. So we are setting some page of set some fields we want to get from Elasticsearch, then we are adding our filters, sorting, and aggregations. And if we are speaking about that three methods, about setting fields, aggregation, and sorting, I left it empty. That will be a little home task for you. So here I realized only some pagination by itself and the set filters method that implements our filter design pattern. Let's skip to our scheme once more time to remind how it looks like. So we are having here our filter design pattern, and that is builder interface that every filter implements. Then we are having query builders and user coding filters to compile our final search query, and search service takes query builder as an argument. So let's return back to our code editor. So at left side you can see filters folder, and here we are having abstract filter. In that way we are realizing interface. So here we're having one abstract static method, create filter, that takes hotel search criteria detail object as argument and returns Elasticsearch DSL query object. So then we have a set of filters. Let's open the first one, city name filter. Here we are having two conditions that are combined with OR, so we are using should. So first match query we are performing against criteria city name, but please pay attention to that rather interesting parameter that is called fuzziness. And that feature means maximum edit distance allowed for matching. In practice, it means that we allow two tuples invert. And Elasticsearch will still allow us to perform correct search. Cool, isn't it? So the second one, that is simply example. I used it here to show you how to make OR conditions. So let's go further with our filters. We have simple match query against our hotel name. And then we have our range query against hotel age. And geo distance filter. That's how it's look like with using Elasticsearch DSL package. So let's close our filters and return to query builder by itself. So here we are having different must, should, and filter conditions, and we are adding our queries to according sections. And in such a way we are compiled our final Elasticsearch query. Despite that object-oriented approach should make our life easier, in practice it is not so easy to be used for using that. Imagine that you can have 30-40 such filters. It is rather easy to make some mistake at composing complicated structures. You will need to constantly debug your final JSON query. Which way can we do it? First option is to dump some middle results as a controller by itself. But that is not the most convenient way for several reasons. First of all, UWSGI application server cache our code. After any changes, you have to refresh the cache using the next command. I add it to readme section. That is how it looks like. Touch UWSGI ini. And its second, annotation defines some exact response structure. As a result, you will have either to comment it or throw some exception. I will show you what I mean here in a real example. So let's say that we want to dump our request data instead of our response. And if you will return to the test page and try to refresh it, as you see, nothing has changed. So first of all, you have to refresh application server cache. So you need to go to readme, copy a coding command, and paste it to your console. So let's refresh it now. But as you see, you still have empty results. That is because of our response scheme annotation. So only when you will comment it and then refresh code again, then you will see our request parameters. So as you can see, that approach is very inconvenient and it is better to reject that approach completely. So let's return back our changes. Let's refresh our cache and refresh our test URL. So all works as it should be. The second option is to configure a debugger at your code editor. For example, at PyCharm, you can configure your Flask application, you can run debugging, put some breakpoints and investigate your code inside. But as many people, as many code editors and configurations, and it would be difficult to show how to configure debuggers, at least for the most popular code editors. Fortunately, a rather universal solution exists, and that is using test. Here I prepared one test that includes almost all controller functionality by itself. So it is located at test unit test class Python. Let's open it. So here is our test. While running the test with S option, you can also dump any intermediate results. So here I commented one such print statement, which I suppose you would like a lot. So let's uncomment it and run our test. For that purpose, use next command. It is also edit at readme section. So simply copy paste it to your console, being at root of your application. And here is our print result. And please have a look at that query. Do you recognize it? That is our JSON row query. And hope that now you understand why it is so essential to understand the basics. As now you are completely aware of what is going on here. You can easily read the query at lower level. You can understand what was done wrong at upper level in case of some errors or unexpected results. Now you should understand that any programming language that is only a high-level wrapper, but basic stays always the same. And when you understand fundamentals, you can realize any logic with any programming language. Hope that you enjoyed that part of the course. I also very much hope that you could get out for yourself a lot of interesting and useful information within that and previous parts. Thank you for being with me the whole time. And see you in the next and the last section of our course, where I will tell you about using ElasticSearch for production.